By New Orleans standards, it was a drought. 11 years between hosting Super Bowls is a long time for a city like this one. Just look at how often the NFL brought its biggest party back to the Big Easy once it gave the city its first Super Bowl back in 1970. 2 years later in 1972, they were back. Then 3 years later, then another 3 years, then another 3, then 5, 4, 7, 5. You get the picture. Then all the new stadiums started popping up across the league and New Orleans started taking a few L's in the bidding process to the more modern million-dollar stadiums. And then there was Katrina in 2005. New Orleans held a Super Bowl in 2002 and then went all the way to 2013 before getting one again. The city hasn't had one since. But barring what would be a last-second turn of events as devastating as the Saints' playoff loss to the Vikings in January, the drought will end Wednesday. That's when Saints owner Gayle Benson and team president Dennis Lauscha will make a presentation to the league owners to host the Super Bowl in 2024. It would be the city's 11th Super Bowl. This time, unlike the past 2 times New Orleans lost out on a bid, there are no other cities bidding against New Orleans. New Orleans was the only city invited to bid on the game. Lauscha and Benson will basically be playing a game of solitaire where the cards are stacked in their favor. It's no question that the NFL, well, the entire sports world for that matter, loves this city. Minus the Superdome blackout 5 years ago shortly after Beyoncé's halftime performance at Super Bowl 47, the city has always seemed to do it right when it comes to throwing sports parties. It's why the NBA All-Star Game has been here 3 times in the past 10 years and WrestleMania has ventured to the Crescent City twice in the last 5 years. And it's why the city looks well on its way to hosting its 11th Super Bowl, which would tie it with Miami for the most. The impact on the city, heck on the region, goes without saying. The last time the game was here in 2013, the economic impact was $480 million. You can expect that to grow exponentially in 2024, especially after the Supreme Court's decision last week to strike down a federal law that prohibits sports gambling, giving states the go-ahead to legalize betting on sports. Speaking of betting, the odds sure look to be in New Orleans' favor this time around. This time, there's no competition, literally. Follow Rod Walker on Twitter, @RodWalkerAdvocate.